Welcome to Catholics on Campus. My name is Maria, and we will be taking a deeper look at the Roman Catholic Church here in Omaha, especially right here on the UNO campus. We will be looking to see where Catholics are active on campus, and we'll be talking to various students, missionaries, and religious figures, hoping to answer that age-old question of why religion, and to show that even after 2,000 years, it's not just a relic of the Middle Ages, and that the Roman Catholic Church is still very much alive. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Catholics on Campus. We're going to be straying a little bit away from the theme today. We're sticking with the Catholic theme, but we're going to be going away from campus, or at least talking about something off of campus. The Newman Center, which I've talked about in my previous podcast, just had a mission trip that went to Colorado, and it was for the poor, and it was really awesome. I did not go on it, but my friend James did, who we will be talking to in just a minute. So it was a really great experience, and he's going to tell us all about it. Just so you guys know, he is a very reserved and somewhat shy kind of guy. So what you detect in his voice is not boredom or sadness, it is sophisticatedness. He's just kind of a reserved person. So he has more of a quiet voice. He's not quite as excitable as I am, but he has a great story. So James.
Yes.
So how long have you been involved at the Newman Center?
Well, since it's been up really for the past 2 years, and sometimes I like to say even more because I've been part of Math Catholic before the Newman Center was up and going.
Okay.
So I'd say about 5 years total.
Oh, wow. Okay, so before we talk about the mission trip, tell me a little bit about Math Catholic before it was Newman.
Yeah, so what it really boiled down to was, at least what I remember, is on Thursday nights we'd have community night at St. Margaret Mary's right off of Dodge, where usually we'd play games or just kind of see the Catholic community on campus once a week. And it was just a good opportunity to go to Mass with a lot of your friends as well. They also had a couple retreats here and there too. That was basically what Math Catholic was.
Okay. So you just recently went on a retreat called Christ in the City.
Mm-hmm. Mission trip, yes.
Mission trip? Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. What is that?
So Christ in the City is an organization run by missionaries, and basically the goal is to basically give either the homeless or people who are living in poverty someone to talk to, because many of those people don't have anyone to turn to, which is why they are on the streets. They've lost a lot of their families and or friends, and the missionaries' mission to be that person, that friend that they can turn to, and then hopefully in some way be able to get them off the streets if they can.
So how did you find out about the mission trip, and then what inspired you to go?
Right, so actually the first time I heard about it was I went to a Catholic conference called Seek. I heard that they had a meeting and pizza was involved, so I was like, I guess I'm going to this, and kind of we'll just check it out. And so I heard about it. It was kind of interesting, and on top of that, I was finding out a bit more about like what it means as a Catholic to help the poor and how we see the homeless, and those kind of grew into desires to go see what it's really like to be a missionary for those people.
So, do you have any like stories from the trip? I mean, I know you do, but the people listening to the podcast don't. So,
right.
Like, is there a story you'd like to share?
Yeah, so I guess one that really strikes my mind when I think about Christ in the City is a certain encounter with one of the homeless. His name was Steve. He was an older man and a very kind man. What really struck me was just his honesty of, like, he felt like he was struggling with alcohol addiction, and he just seemed like he wanted some help, but it was just really hard for him because, well, it was really hard for him to even find opportunities to get somewhere to live because he couldn't really write too well, so he couldn't really sign for anything, which was a big hindrance for him. Also, he had a felony on his records, and that also was really difficult. But at the same time, with all that, he just seemed like a really kind man, and I just had this strong feeling of peace talking with him.
Did you see any lives changed on the trip to Christ in the City? Whether it be the homeless, or maybe one of the missionaries, or even your own life?
Yeah, so I guess the thing that I noticed the most was, it was in Denver, Colorado, and the people I went down with, we often discuss like what we noticed and like what do we feel was gained out of that. And I think a lot of it was, one, that the stereotypes of the homeless aren't always true. I even feel like I had some stereotypes towards the homeless. But also, there really is a way to find Christ even through all people, no matter what their story is or where they've been. Because you could easily see how much joy they have even with how little they have, which was kind of eye-opening. So just seeing the growth through those experiences with my teammates, that's what I noticed the most in growth.
Okay, so you spoke of stereotypes. Like, what kind of stereotypes are we?
So, like, I guess the stereotypes that people hear is, like, they just want your money, they're just gonna spend it on drugs or alcohol, and, like, they're not really trying to better their lives. They're honestly basically just a waste of space and a waste of time. But a lot of them do want to get out of it. Like I said, a lot of them just don't have anyone to turn to. I remember hearing about lots of death in both families and friends, and something that all of us kind of had to think about was like, where would you be if you lost all your family and friends? Where would you go? And I think a lot of us came to the conclusion that it's likely we could be on the streets too. With that perspective, I think it's easier to understand, put yourself in their shoes, because it's definitely not an easy lifestyle, but being able to still see joy through that is kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm. So one last question, and it's kind of not really even related to the mission trip. It's kind of bring it back home. But
sure.
What's the best part of being a young person in the Catholic Church, and what's the hardest part about it?
The best part about being young in the Catholic Church is, honestly, you're kind of, in a way, the most powerful voice of the Catholic Church, because, one, you're the new generation, and you're the people that generally want to be heard, whether it's younger kids or the elderly. Like, we want to be talked to, and I guess just having that fresh power is something to enjoy and use. But I guess the hardest part is almost the exact opposite, that like this age is also like what feels to me as like the hardest to set concretely in your ways, because there, I guess in a lot of times, like, other things can look better, but always coming back knowing that, like, I believe in something that's greater than myself, and I hope that one day that is heaven.
That was so beautiful. To wrap up, is there anything at all that you would like to add? Anything, I don't know, you'd like the audience to know about the trip, about the Newman Center, about being Catholic?
Right. I don't know. I really recommend anyone to try doing, maybe not, it doesn't necessarily have to be a mission trip all the way out in Denver to meet the homeless, but like just experience them for yourself. Maybe that'll help some of the stereotypes. Actually talk to them, because a lot of them, they have their own stories. they are people too. Just don't be too quick to judge.
Thanks for joining us for Catholics on Campus. I hope you'll be joining me again to uncover more reasons for why this seemingly medieval church is still around. Until next time, God bless.
Said